Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ Review, and Happy New Year, right here on the review number 79, and I am Virtue, being joined once again by Aaron Rift, Big G, and TJS. How's it going, everybody? How about you? I'll start with you, Aaron Rift. What's up, man? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, happy new decade. First NoDQ review of the 2020s. We have a lot to talk about since we took, the last 2 weeks off? We had a lot of holidays, of course, Christmas, New Year's, and now we're all refreshed. We're back. We're ready to talk about what's to come here in the month of January. TGS, how you feeling?
Feeling all right, man. Feeling all right. We had quite the interesting week in professional wrestling, and it's always fun to talk about it here. It's 2020, so maybe WWE's about to kick it into high gear. Royal Rumble's coming up. Looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. Big G, how's it going, man?
Doing good, guys. The year is going. I had a good New Year's Eve. Other than that, let's get right into this wrestling discussion.
Are you on assignment? Where are you at? The North Pole, the South Pole? You're just chopping up a little bit. Is your Wi-Fi good?
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on.
Well, hey, hold on. All right. While he's holding on here, let's continue. TJS, I want to start with you on this one. First topic for the new year. Specifically, what would you like in professional wrestling to stay back in 2019? And what are you looking forward to most for 2020? So it's one of those double-sided questions. And go.
All right. I think that I'm ready for WWE to move on from the contract signings, of course. That's something that we're sick of seeing. AEW even held their own. And, man, it's just dumb. Why would you advertise a match if it's not even official? I could go on for like 10 minutes about that. I feel like WWE needs to stop being so formulaic with, the 20-minute opening promos, blah, blah, blah. And it looks like they are going back to the two-man commentary team, which I'm a fan of, on Raw at least, and SmackDown. So, good stuff. And then for things I'd like to see in 2020, I want to see more squash matches. And I want to see more character development with AEW, and I want WWE to push Keith Lee. That's it. That's all I want. Make him face, give him a big spot at WrestleMania. I'd be happy. But yeah, there's hopefully the Royal Rumble actually means something this year. And Seth won it last year. It didn't really pay off for him. He beat Brock, and now Brock's the champ again. And it just. You guys know how it went. Aaron, how about you, man? What are you looking forward to, and what do you want to be deleted?
Well, you left out one thing that you want to see more of, and that's EC3. You knew it was coming. I would like to see more unpredictability. I want to see the shows go back to that must-see format where if you miss a show, you miss something big. I miss the days when we would tune into live wrestling and it would be exciting. Now it's just like the shows are decent. There's good wrestling, but you could really just watch on DVR later. You can watch on YouTube. You can watch the Twitter clips, and you can pretty much get the gist of what's going on just by watching the social media footage. So I'm hoping that we'll see a shift in 2020 where the content becomes more must-see again. Do some more swerves like Vince Russo would do. And just make the shows fun again. Try some different things, experiment, and get rid of the shaky camera work. Leave that behind in the previous decade. Please, if there's any one thing, I do not want the migraines anymore. So please, WWE, stop with the shaky camera work. It doesn't make your segments any better. And there's a long list of stuff that I could go on and on about. Like you said, TGS, I could talk 10 minutes about this. Yeah. Hey, you sneezed. Vince is not going to be happy with that. You're fired, TJ.
I tried to mute the microphone. It didn't work.
Well, you failed. Big G, I'm sure there's some other stuff that we did not mention that you could bring up here.
So, the 2020s. What am I looking forward to wrestling in the 2020s? Well, I'd be happy if they push Shayna Baszler to the moon on Raw or SmackDown. and made her a dominant champion. That aside, like you mentioned, the shaky camera stuff, they can get rid of that. That can be left behind. Try to hopefully NXT can move away from Full Sail University and start expanding into, arenas that fit like 10,000 people or something like that. Try to expand NXT, especially if they want to compete with AEW. AEW, they're doing pretty good right now. They just need to boost up the women's division. Like we've said in the past, put the title on Awesome Kong, build up some opponents for her to demolish, and then eventually build somebody up to take her down. Raw, SmackDown, they just need... the writers, they just need to be more creative. They need new thoughts. They need everything just needs to be pretty much rebooted on Raw and SmackDown and have a clean slate. Have a clean slate and start fresh.
All right, TJS, before you go, first of all, in 2020, I want to see the return of Ronda Rousey, right? Because when she was here, people got upset. Some wrestling fans were like, what are you doing here taking our TV time from some of our beloved wrestlers that have done this their whole life? But guess what? The women got to the main event. So I would like to see Ronda come back. I would like to think maybe in 2020, far stretch, CM Punk might come back to the ring. Probably not going to happen. Those are the type of things I hold my hopes up for. But I want to see more storylines, more Lana, Lashley, Rusev, Liv wedding stuff. Now, not exactly like that, but do you see the buzz it created? People went on that hated it, and they had to talk about it. People loved it. We're going to talk about that in our main event. What do I want to leave behind in 2019? Not all of it, but like half of it. Half of the in-ring action, especially leading to major events. Because when I finally see a major event, I've seen so much wrestling. I've seen the two people wrestling lock up so many times, I don't care about their match at the big pay-per-view or event. I want to see how it used to be. More drama on TV, less wrestling. And for those of you that want the in-ring action, the WrestleMania-style finishes, work that up to the big events. You can get it there. You don't need it all the time. You don't need 20-minute matches to kick off AEW every week. Okay? Yeah. That's what I want to see. TJS?
Yeah, man, you're right. It's like we're getting Canadian destroyers on the apron. It's ridiculous. But I was just going to say, you want to talk about creative ideas. How about that Brock Lesnar 24/7 title idea? I like it. Have him win it and have him go to his private land and then have the jobbers try to sneak onto the land and pin him and have Brock hunt those sumbitches down. I love it. Do it, please. Thank you.
All right.
Big G.
So, one more thing before we head on to the next topic. So, we're in the social media era. I know everybody complains about stuff that they don't like, but I would like for people to complain less about the product and think what's the word I'm thinking of? Talk more about the positive stuff.
Yes. Big G, we've talked about that before. Stop complaining and start talking about the things, even if it's a few. Even if it's just a few things, put more emphasis into the stuff you like. Exactly.
Now, for everything we've said here, of course, as long as Vince McMahon is in charge, there's probably not going to be much change as far as WWE creatively goes.
How far do you think in the 2020s Vince is going to be running WWE?
Until he dies. Or he's so sick he's in a hospital bed, a hospice, and he can't. I've said it time and time again, he'll probably live to be 100 years old. Active most of those years.
Vince is not stepping down, fellas. He just isn't.
Well, there's a few things that have happened lately in WWE that I liked, and I wish we could see more of. And that's the next topic. Like, for instance, Andrade winning the U.S. Championship against Rey Mysterio at a house show. Was this in the Garden in New York?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, granted, it's the Garden, a house show. They tend to give them more special things there. But I like that happened. And I also like that Randy Orton, and he even fooled one of our very own, Big G, in an injury, a fake injury. And we all, not we all, but a lot of people bit it because, he was limping. It happened at a house show. And it turned into an angle on Raw. I like to see this type of stuff. This is what I'm talking. And that's just little stuff. Just a little fake injury. A simple mid-card title change at a house show. All of a sudden now I felt like Andrade he got attention, right? Because the internet blows stuff like that up. And if he would have beat Rey Mysterio on Raw, we would have been like, oh, Andrade won the U.S. title. He beats him in the Garden at a house show. Hey, Andrade is the U.S. champion. He's finally getting a push. So, Aaron, what do you think about stuff like that? I want to see more of that. I want to see more, not necessarily house shows, but just cool, the way they break news. Don't give everything away offline like they do sometimes. Like at Raw, Brock Lesnar returns, more surprise, more vignettes, more. You know where I'm going with this, Aaron. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I like doing the title change at the house show and doing the Randy Orton injury angle at the house show just to get people thinking that house shows matter. I think it's a good business idea to do that. And I think if you have a title change every now and then, it's fine. You should do it. I know house shows are not as important to WWE's bottom line as they used to be, but I mean, you might as well do something and try to make those shows somewhat meaningful so they're not just a complete waste of time. Now, I know some people like going to the house shows because the wrestlers have a little bit more creativity and they sometimes do stuff that they would not do on television. But yeah, I do like it. And I wanted to say the Randy Orton segment, other than the Lashley and Lana wedding clips, that did the most YouTube views. So funny, the top 3 videos on WWE's YouTube channel from Raw this week were segments that did not have any wrestling. They were non-wrestling segments. Just saying. Big G, what do you think?
Well, I was there in person in Hershey when they did that whole angle with Orton. And, it did they did have me think, he was really injured until, the whole article came out with Dave Meltzer.
So let me ask you. Yeah, well, thanks for interrupting me, TJS, with the name who shall not be named. Now, the question I had for you, Big G, was you were there. The people in the arena, was there a vibe that this was a work, or did people think that Randy was really hurt?
I think people really thought that he was hurt. I mean, they had like the medical doctors out there and whatnot. They pretty much stopped the match midway. AJ was like concerned. So, and then he left. And I mean, it was a lot more family oriented over there. There was a lot of kids with their parents and whatnot. And, the kids, they're going to believe that he was hurt and whatnot. And, he had the medical team help him out of the ring and he was limping and whatnot. And, once that article came out, I was like, well, all right, let's see what happens on Raw. And of course they had the whole breaking news saying he went to the medical center and whatnot to do that. And, they did a good job with it on Raw, faking everybody out. And same thing with Andrade, winning the U.S. title against Mysterio at the Garden. If I'm not mistaken, didn't AJ Styles win the U.S. title at a house show a couple years ago?
Yeah.
So, I think they want to do it every once in a while to get people's attention to say, hey, the titles just don't change on Raw or SmackDown or pay-per-view. They can change at any given time. And, Andrade, he's a new rising star. He's with Selena. He needs that push, and why not give him the U.S. title? So,
TJS, what do you think about this?
I'm with you guys on it. I agree. There needs to be more surprises. Do not announce that John Morrison has signed a multi-year deal with WWE on WWE Backstage. Do not say, it's just so. Don't say Brock Lesnar's going to be back next week. Just let things happen. It really frustrates me. I'm waiting for them to be on WWE Backstage. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Edge has been cleared to return to the ring. He's going to be in the Royal Rumble. I'm just waiting. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They did the same. They did the same thing with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's been cleared for action. Just let him come out and make the announcement because it makes it feel organic that way. When he made his announcement, it was like, oh, we know what he's going to say. But if he just came out there casually and just did the announcement, people would be like, oh, wow. But no, they always have to announce things in advance. They're probably going to do that stupid thing this year where they get, like, tell us who the number 30 Rumble entrant's going to be like they did last year.
Yeah, they should never do that. I mean,
the element of surprise is just completely gone. I don't even like the idea of them saying there's going to be 10 SmackDown, 10 Raw, 10 NXT. I just want the damn match to happen. Don't give anything away about it. It's frustrating, and that's it's like you guys said, the must-see aspect of WWE is gone because nothing feels important, just like the house shows. Usually, when you go to a house show, how's it going to end? It's going to end with a big 8-man tag team match with the babyfaces hitting the finishers on the top heel. We know how it works. It's frustrating. So yeah, I'm happy for Andrade though, and now I can't wait for them to redesign the championship. It's long overdue. But yeah, more surprises, please.
Yeah, I mean, keep doing what they're Go ahead.
And for the love of God, I know. I was for it a while back, but they need to stop posting these engagements on Twitter, on WWE and whatnot.
We've talked about that in the past before.
Yeah.
And it hurts the business. Like, yes, they're real people with real names, and I guess it's, they want to share their happiness, but when you're a performer and you're a different person on camera and you're not necessarily with that person, there are customers that might like Becky Lynch, and we've talked about this, but knowing she's with Seth Rollins, they might, I don't have a chance with her. There are still people like that out there. There are big-time Extreme Marks fans, kids, whatever, and they might be turned off when they see this stuff. Anyway,
I just brought that up because Andrade and Charlotte just got engaged on New Year's Eve. So
it kind of overshadows the fact that he's the U.S. champion now.
And it also makes Zelina look like a nobody to him, I think. I don't like it.
Yeah, and the fact that's a good point. And then Zelina with Aleister Black, and it's like, all right, come on.
Yeah.
And if wrestling was supposed to be real, wouldn't Charlotte and Andrade be on camera together? Wouldn't Zelina and Aleister Black be on camera together? See, that's the problem, because they look what happened with Lana Rusev back in the day. Again, this is all leading to our main event discussion tonight. But who was mixed up with that? Summer Rae. It's like Vince McMahon got, see what I mean? So they should keep doing these sporadically. I like it. We got an injury angle and the title change in the same week at house shows. You want to make house shows interesting. You want to have more than 1,500 people there. I mean, heck, I remember during the Attitude Era, not only would they do a full arena at a house show, the upper deck would sell at a house show in like a sports arena, like in Cleveland. So you're talking like 18,000 people, because why? Stone Cold was in the main event. Sure, it was a house show, but your TV and your characters were so good during your TV shows, people wanted to see them live, even if they knew that really didn't mean anything. And we're so far from that. They're a wrestling factory now, guys. It's NXT produced stars. They bring people up. They never give anybody the right push. They never let big megastars overtake the company, become bigger than the company. That's Vince McMahon's ego, by the way. I wish they would. So let's move on. Here's a controversial topic. Big G, I'm going to put you in the awkward spot here first. So first of all, let me go back on Lars Sullivan. When he missed some time earlier, a year ago, he had those emotional problems or whatever. He went away. Did he come back and then had to go again because he got injured? Like, I'm just trying to – is that what happened? Is that the Lars Sullivan story? He came back from the personal problems, and then he got hurt. Okay. So he's been out injured. And these allegations now, I mean, the guy looks like Lars Sullivan. It is Lars Sullivan from my point of view. Sex tapes emerge, right? And I don't care what type of orientation sex tapes are. The fact is, look, Seth Rollins had nudes exposed. I mean, right? Look what happened with Paige. This stuff needs to stop. Now, yes, if it happened long ago, okay, and then you become a big star doing something like professional wrestling, all right, whatever. But like, people, just keep your private life to yourself. Now, what do you think, Big G? My point on this for Lars Sullivan, we know he looks like a Vince McMahon big monster type guy. Could this mean the end of Lars in WWE and wrestling, period, knowing that he has these emotional problems too, having a tape like that allegedly leak out?
See, that's what kind of like makes me upset. These people on the internet somehow find these leak tapes, these leak conversations, or whatever, and they ruin these people's lives. You know, could this be the end of Lars Sullivan? Possibly, yes, because he really never had a career started anyways. I mean, he was NXT for a while. He went up to the main roster. All these things happened with him, the injuries, the emotions or whatever that went on with him as well. And now this. So, I mean, it's up to Vince. Vince is going to be have the final say with this. But people, just leave these people alone. They're real human beings. Let them have a life. Focus on your life. Don't try to screw up somebody else's life.
That's what people do.
I know it's what people do, but it's to the point where these people just need to be banned from their computers and whatnot, and just leave these people alone. That's all I'm gonna say.
Now, Aaron, to be fair, Paige still has a role. Xavier Woods, Hogan is back, being inducted again into the Hall of Fame as part of the NWO. So WWE seems to be very forgiving with this kind of stuff for the most part. So is this more just a matter of fact that just Lars never had track? Like, what do you think? Do you think we'll see Lars Sullivan again when healthy in a WWE ring? And will this hamper his career? Because it really has, like PG said, it hasn't really started yet.
Yeah, I think it's just like one thing after another. They all keep piling up all these issues. I hope they'll do something with him, but sometimes you only get one shot, and once that shot is gone, it's hard to get a second chance unless you're somebody like Hulk Hogan and you have that name value and you're one of the guys that built the company, and the company's going to forgive you for that and wait till the heat dies down. They may feel the same way about Lars. Like they may feel that in 6 months the heat will die down and he can be brought back, and he might not be ready until then anyways. So we'll just have to wait and see. I think the guy had a lot of potential, but the problem is that he comes back, and if the heat hasn't died down, you're going to get fans heckling him, and it's going to be hard for anybody to take him seriously because of all this stuff. So it might be an uphill battle for him, but I hope mentally he's able to come back and be as good as he was when he was at his peak. Got hurt, and we'll just have to wait and see. TGS, anything else you wanted to add on that?
Yeah, I mean, the guy clearly has issues. Allegedly, we saw the homophobic comments, and now we see him in a male pornography video, which is strange. It's very contradictory to what he said, allegedly, again. But I don't think that he's going to come back. He disabled his Twitter account, and I feel like you guys said, he never really got off the ground as far as the main roster is concerned. He was doing okay in NXT, and yeah, I think he has a lot of potential, but I feel like he seems to be a sensitive person because we saw what happened with the whole anxiety thing, and I feel like this was probably the last straw for his career, unfortunately. I would be surprised if we see him back at this point.
Any EC3 videos leaked?
No, I've been paying attention to the Page ones. I hope we get a Liv Morgan Lana one. We're building up to that main event, boys.
We are. But before we get there, so we'll move on from that topic. So it's the new year, and I believe Brock is advertised for Raw next Monday. Oh boy, right? Like you said, and the fact that he's the champion, and he's only there for the special appearances. I mean, that never changes. I always believed if him being the Universal or WWE champion, and he's not there often, they should use it to pay off to build the next top babyface, but they just never properly do that. So we'll see where all of this goes. But let's go around the horn. And TGS, I'm going to start with you. What do you think should come out of Brock Lesnar's appearance on Raw? I mean, do we really even kind of have an idea, or we don't really for this one? What do you think?
I'm sure it's going to be the same. Paul, hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the advocate for the bees. Give me a break. I'm sick of it. I imagine what's going to happen is we're going to find out Brock's Royal Rumble opponents, and who could it? Do you guys have any ideas of who it could be? I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
We'll say when it's our turn, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. Maybe maybe Eric Rowan. No, not Eric Rowan. I don't know who you have face Drew McIntyre. It seems like maybe he's going the babyface route. That's the only person I could think of. I think they're saving Velasquez or Fury for WrestleMania. So my guess is going to be McIntyre because they're building him up. Like I said, it looks like he's turning babyface. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to Brock showing up. Just give him the 24/7 title. Have him go back to Canada as far as I'm concerned. Aaron.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Drew McIntyre seems to be a good candidate. I feel like he's kind of going in a babyface direction, like calling himself, the sexy Scotsman or something. I don't know, though. And and he's asking the fans for a show of hands, like he's playing to the crowd.
And then before the Claymore, he did like a countdown or whatever. He's like 1, 2, 3, and then did it's interesting.
Yeah, so that makes me think maybe it will be him. And I agree with you. I feel like whoever is Brock's opponent at the Rumble is probably going to be somebody like Drew McIntyre or maybe even Aleister Black. But in the end, it's going to end up being Kane or Tyson Fury. Now, I know there was a report that it's not going to be one of those guys, but I don't exactly buy that because it's WrestleMania, and you would think that WWE's, looking at it from their perspective, they're going to want to get another match. Maybe we'll get lucky, and maybe they'll bring back Kane for the Rumble, and then have somebody like Aleister Black fight Brock at WrestleMania and have Aleister win the title. But I'm not getting my hopes up, guys.
Is Braun Strowman still on Raw?
No,
he's on SmackDown, and he's doing dancing now. So that's that.
Big G, what do you think for Brock here?
Well, my whole plan with Seth Rollins gets thrown out the window. I think McIntyre would be the next best choice. AJ's with Orton right now. You got Rollins with AOP and Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe. Maybe Aleister Black if the whole feud is over with Buddy Murphy. Other than that, I think they're just going to name his Royal Rumble opponent, or they'll have some kind of like fatal 5-way or 6-pack challenge or a 10-man match, elimination match or something like that, and determine his opponent for a Royal Rumble. So
you know what I'd like to see. It's hard. With the brand split, it sucks because you can literally narrow it down to a few people, and you're probably going to see one of them. But like, if their plan is to keep the title on Brock, right? Obviously until WrestleMania, why not use this opportunity to bring up an NXT star to let them face Brock at the Royal Rumble and not win, but game whatever, I don't care. But like Keith Lee, would that not be hot? People would get behind it. So you had him up before. With the Survivor Series angle, so it's not like what do you guys think about something like that? Not to put that would elevate Keith Lee. He could go back to NXT and then almost beating Brock at the Rumble. Now you can put him hard at NXT afterwards.
What about Matt Riddle? There you go.
I think
it's kind of more like for Goldberg. I thought remember his trying to build that thing up with Goldberg. That's what I'd like to see with him. So Keith Lee seems to have all that momentum. And he's a baby. I mean, Riddle's a baby too, but Keith Lee is like the hot commodity right now in NXT to the fans.
Yeah. And also, I think Walter versus Brock Lesnar. Ooh, that would be a good one too. I think.
Well, unfortunately, Walter jobbed out at Survivor Series, so now it's like I don't even care about that as a possibility. But what I would rather see is I'd rather see Keith Lee win the Royal Rumble and then beat Brock at WrestleMania. I would really like that. But I feel like it's going to be the worst case scenario. It's going to be Brock versus somebody like a Drew McIntyre. Drew's going to lose, and then Brock's going to face Kane or Tyson Fury at WrestleMania. I'm thinking the worst case scenario here, guys. But I'd like to see something changed up for sure.
Hey, could it be a rematch with Ray because they took the U.S. title off of him? Again, we'll see what happens, right? We should find out on Raw on Monday. All right. We're probably going to talk about this for 15. So we've talked about Lana, Lashley, Rusev, and now Liv Morgan before. Well, she's now a new piece in this drama. But here's the deal, people. There's people that hate this. There's people that thought this was cringy. Raw had under 2 million people last week. Sure, the numbers aren't that great, but now all of a sudden and this was a New Year's, basically right around New Year's. They get 2.5 million with with this angle getting, what, 2, 3, 4 million views, more than the wrestling on YouTube, I almost feel like they don't care what the hardcore fans say, like that bash these type of angles. They want to do over the top. They introduced the lesbianism, right, because of Liv Morgan coming out, and her and Lana had a thing. I mean, that was new for us. Because I think they just want to see these clips get big hits on YouTube. I think that's what they ultimately care about. Because, Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, they already get the money on these TV deals, right? Like there is no the higher the ratings, the more money they get. They're locked into contracts with USA Network and Fox, right? So they get, no matter how good these shows are on TV, they get money. So why not try to spike a couple videos up on YouTube? They got millions of subscribers. Aaron, at a small level, the better your videos do, you get money. Well, they're probably getting more money for big views like this. So what's everybody's take on this? I mean, we've seen this wedding angle over and over again over the years. It always plays out where, it never happens and something like this happens. We knew Rusev was going to pop out of the cake. Predictable, right? But while that was happening, we didn't expect Liv Morgan to come out and her and Lana had a thing. Like, this is WWE storytelling. Aaron, I want to start with you because you compare this to like Russo style writing, and just elaborate. I want to know your feel. We kind of know what your feelings are. You like this kind of stuff, like me, because people are kind of like wanting to see Rusev, get his comeuppance from all of this. Maybe get a push, and that's what these type of things are supposed to do. So, what do you think of this recent drop, The Wedding?
Hey. Now that I'm thinking about Rusev, maybe Rusev will be the guy to job out to Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble to kill off his momentum. It's funny because Rusev, he had the Rusev Day thing, and then that cooled off, and now he's getting hot again. So the storyline has helped him. So for people that complain about the storyline, Rusev's over again. Like, he had cooled off significantly, and now the Rusev Day chants are back, and the people are behind him again.
A Rusev Day shirt as well. He got that now. So
yeah. So, for all the negative things that people say about the storyline, it's over the top, it's goofy, but that's what wrestling's about. It's supposed to be fun, and Liv Morgan was a nice swerve, and that's why I bring up Vince Russo, because it was very much something that none of us were expecting, and people are complaining about that too. And my attitude is that, well, I feel like at least she's in a significant storyline now. She's right there, probably getting the biggest push of her career now. To me, that's a positive for her.
Yeah,
probably
because
better
where
than
was she
whatever
before,
else they
Aaron?
would have done with her.
She was a third wheel of a women's group, right?
Yeah, and I feel like what they were doing with those video packages, I feel like that was going to be Emma all over again. They were going to try to do this gimmick that was going to flop big time. At least with this, she's got some momentum now. I don't know if it's going to sustain or not, but at least she's got something, and I'm curious to see where it goes. And ultimately, that's what you want to do with your television show. You want people to be curious to see what happens next. And as far as the YouTube clips go, I think that it's not going to do a lot for WWE's bottom line. The money that they make from YouTube, it's nothing compared to what the TV deal money is. But I think it's valuable in terms of making viral videos for WWE and getting some word of mouth advertisement and getting some eyeballs on the product. And maybe a couple 100,000 people might watch that and decide to check out Raw next week. And if that's the case, then the angle's worth it. It's not going to hurt WWE. All it can do is help. The people that don't like it aren't really watching to begin with, So we'll see what happens. We'll see if WWE can build up some momentum from this. And I think the real key here is what you do with Rusev. And if he can go to the next level, I wouldn't mind him beating Brock Lesnar just for the record, but I know that's not going to happen. So yeah, Big G, what were your thoughts on it? And what would you like to see next from this? Do you think they should drop the angle? Do you want to see one more Bobby Lashley match?
I'm loving it. Ladies and gentlemen, what we are watching with Rusev, Lana, Lashley, and Liv Morgan is what you see on TV. It's called a soap opera. I know there are people out there that watch soap operas, and this is exactly what's happening. You have a love triangle. Now you have an ex-lover coming out with Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan's posting pictures on Instagram with her and Lana, trying to build up that storyline. but I said I'm loving it. You know, nobody was expecting Liv Morgan. Aaron, you nailed it. You know, she's finally doing something now. Last time we saw her, she lost a match against Charlotte on SmackDown and hadn't seen her since. And didn't she say on Raw, you know, when she's ready to strike, she's going to strike? And sure enough, she came out at the right moment and pretty much beat down Lana and whatnot. And we all know WWE weddings, they never end with an I do.
And Big T, while this is all happening, we know Lana and Rusev are married, but have we seen them? Have they done anything on social media together? They are selling. They're doing this Brett and Owen style, and then you see Lashley and Lana, and now Liv doing pictures. Like they're going all out, and they're even playing their social media doing this. Absolutely. That's what I want more of.
Exactly. And you know, the funny thing is, they had all these chairs set out for the guests to come, but nobody wanted to come because nobody likes Lana and Lashley. And they are doing their job as heels. You're not supposed to like them. You're supposed to root for the baby faces, for Rusev, for Liv, who's finally getting, you know, a decent push, like you said. No more Riot Squad. So we'll see what happens. You know, I'm curious to see what happens on Raw next week. You know, they left us with the cliffhanger. Just props to everybody who's doing this angle. To the writers, you know, they're actually doing something creative, and if it's cringe, you know, it's supposed to make
the people
cringe,
that say that, right? We're in 2019 to 2020, right? These 2 years are now, you know, I'm not going to say it, but people it's sensitive. It's a sensitive era. So the people, go ahead.
I got one more thing to add, a little rant here. So if you guys saw
the main event, baby,
the NoDQ Decade Awards. Rusev and Lana's split from this year was voted the worst storyline of the decade, and I'm disappointed with the No DQ Galaxy on that one.
Yeah.
You guys, you missed out on some really bad storylines, apparently, like that Claire Lynch, AJ Styles. Now, that was a soap opera, but that was really bad, and I think that almost killed AJ's career. The anonymous Raw GM, I mean, that had, Hornswoggle as the payoff, like,
yeah,
there were far worse storylines throughout the decade than this Rusev Lana one. So
you know, the funny thing is, Aaron, that this storyline hasn't even been a full year. It's only been a couple months, and yet they think it's the, you know, it's like, anyways. But that's what I think of it. You know, hopefully they can drag this out. You know, up until the Royal Rumble, where you have a mixed tag team match between Lashley and Lana, Rusev and Liv Morgan, and then maybe, or if not, then you know, a couple weeks here on Raw, and then have Rusev win the Royal Rumble or whatnot, and go on from there.
All right, now TJS, before you go, the other people, so the sensitive people don't like this stuff, and then I thought Joey Ryan was very, very contradictory, by the way, when he basically did not like this angle. For everything that he does, it's like, what? So if this angle happened in a bar in a ring in front of 120 people, it would have been okay. And I'm a big supporter of Joey Ryan, but like, that's all I'm going to say with that. But I don't think this angle is done, TJS. I think there's going to be another piece at some point thrown in here. Especially now, because it's getting attention, and the people that actually want to see this stuff. It's not a vocal minority now where the people that hate it are overshadowing the people that like it. I think it's kind of a 50-50 split from what I can see on my social media. What do you think about this? Could EC3 get involved in this angle, or somebody else to boost it up again? Might Lashley have a lover now? Could it be Lars Sullivan? I mean, think of the possibility. I'm just saying, think of the possibilities. Like back in the day, nothing was. I mean, Matt Hardy, Edge, Lita, nothing was safe. They did it, and it drew, right? What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, I think that I was going to make the Lars Sullivan joke, Virtue. I was going to make that joke. But yes, I
said it was a joke.
I enjoyed the wedding. I thought it was very well done. I loved the officiating pastor. I thought he was really funny. It was hilarious that Lashley came out with a cut-up blazer with no shirt. It was good stuff all around. I loved Lana was acting like her acting's usually not that good, but I thought that she did a good job in this segment. And Lashley is just doing a good job, looking like a complete idiot. Just completely falling for Lana, doing everything that she says, reading the vows that she wrote for him. I don't know why people criticize this stuff. It's really entertaining to me.
They want the other people that I said besides the sensitive people, the ones that want long matches, and this cuts away into that time.
They want their near falls. They got to have their 20 near falls.
Those are the people.
It's 20 Canadian destroyers and 20 super kicks.
And look, if they get it, they're going to get it at Wrestle Kingdom in a couple days. They're going to get 2 days, 12 hours of in-ring action.
Like 20 tope suicidas.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they wanted Rusev to come out of the cake and hit a Canadian destroyer on Lashley and then go up to the top, hit the 630.
And then Lashley no-sells it.
Yeah, he just gets right up, kicks out at 1.
Immediately pops up and everybody goes, "This is awesome."
This is awesome. Yeah, give me a break, guys. Just enjoy the story. That's what wrestling is lacking, and that's what we keep trying to tell you. We need story. What the hell was Lashley doing before this? Lashley's sisters. He was doing the thing with Lio Rush. That fizzled out. Then Lashley was just a nobody. And now you have him, like, you hate this man. You're like, wow, I can't believe this douchebag stole this man's wife. And Lana just looks like a complete bitch. Like I said it. She looks like you want to hate her. And
right.
It helps that she's also bad at acting or whatever. And it's just great, and you're really sympathizing with Rusev, who is just giving off this total, he just doesn't give a damn vibe. Getting divorced in the Donald Duck shirt, like I said before, it was awesome. I feel like the crowd was really wanting Rusev, and this is helping him out tremendously. I've always been a big fan of Rusev, and I'm glad that the Rusev Day is picking steam up again. And Rusev doesn't look like a comedy figure either. He actually... and I think we need to see that too, where Lashley and Rusev beat the hell out of each other a lot more, and just make them just really, really sell it like they're hating each other. They're doing the social media thing, but I want a Lashley Rusev My Way video, Limp Bizkit, WrestleMania 17 style.
It says Paul Heyman's fingerprints all over it, as we know. I'm sure Vince McMahon's as well. Yeah, there's some people in the business that didn't like it. Like Vito was kind of crapping on it, but then I saw Disco Inferno said, and he was a comedy gimmick, right, with the dancing and all that. He loved it. So it's polarizing to people that have been in the business.
Yeah, it's good stuff, guys. It really is. And then with the Liv Morgan thing, no one would have guessed that. And she looked like Dana Brooke to me, actually. I thought it was Dana Brooke at first, but yeah. I hope that we get some leaked tapes of Lana and Liv. You know what I'm saying? I'd be okay with that. For storyline purposes, we have to advance the storyline, so we need those videos, But mixed tag team match at Royal Rumble, I'm sure that's where this is going. And I wouldn't mind Lashley and Rusev having a huge, big WrestleMania match. I liked Virtue's idea of Rusev winning the Rumble, challenging Lashley. Aaron?
Well, I also like Virtue's idea they could still do this where Lashley finally smartens up and he actually goes babyface with Rusev and Lana has to come up with a team. And I'm going to make a prediction. I think we're going to see an on-screen kiss between Lana and Liv Morgan because that thumbnail will get WWE another 5 million views. So I'm going to call it. I think they're going to do a kiss on screen. I'm calling it.
I got Aaron, that thing that I said where Lashley would smarten up, I got where he would end up teaming up with Rusev. I got that. It might have been Russo or so. I listened to another podcast, someone who was in the business. So again, that stuff it piqued my interest. It piqued Aaron's interest. It still works, even in today's 20-minute match era. It still works. People still want this stuff.
If the whole Liv and Lana don't kiss, then I'm sure Rusev and Lana will kiss. And say, well, if you guys are together, well, I might as well hook up with Liv Morgan here, who's hotter than Lana. And,
that's what I'm saying. I don't know if another person's going to come into this mix or it's not done yet. I feel, especially with the way Raw ratings went up to 2.5 and the YouTube hits are up, they are going to continue with this. I know they are. Like Aaron said, they want those thumbnails.
Let's not forget that also Monday Night Football ended. So, I mean, that also was a cause for the numbers going up, too. But,
Yeah.
I mean, still,
the football season is officially over. Regular season.
I'll just say this right now. I would be disappointed if Rusev and Lana get back together. I want this to be like the end of their, I don't want them to get back together unless you do something where you find out Lashley was like, it's like Richie said, the Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth thing, where Lashley just treats Lana wrong, whatever, and Rusev comes to her aid, something like that at WrestleMania. I think it would be great. But yeah,
the problem is that Elizabeth was never, that heelish character, and you need somebody even more dastardly than Lana to screw her over. I think for that to work.
Yeah, it makes sense. Either way, I don't want Lana and Rusev to just go back to their old ways after this.
So, out of all the weddings that we've known in WWE over the years, going back to Macho Liz, or attempted weddings, Stephanie, Triple H, what was there, Edge and Vicky? Which one do you? I guess we won't count Macho and Liz because that back then it was a different time. But of the goofy wedding angles, which one do you guys remember the most now? Like
Billy and Chuck.
Okay. Anybody else?
Billy and
the
Chuck.
most memorable? Was it this one?
Teddy Long and Crystal.
He had a heart attack.
Those two didn't really stick out to me. I think this one might, no pun intended, take the cake.
Yeah. This one stuck out to me too, but then remember you had...
Of the goofy one.
Lita. You had Kane and Lita. Lita and Edge. Billy and Chuck,
Let's not forget Triple H and Stephanie, which is what started the whole McMahon-Helmsley era.
So, even though they don't end up, we all know, and I do, it's always fun to watch the WWE weddings because something crazy is going to happen. And that's what people are entertained by. Storyline, characters. They make you, I don't want to say emotional, but they make you feel connected to...
Well, we're not talking, and we're talking mid-card stuff. I mean, yeah, they got the last spot on Raw, but it's not like Lashley and Rusev are the main champions. So, like I suggested, build up to that. But so if the fans that, it's just, what is it taking away from you? It's giving the people that like this kind of stuff something more than wrestling matches to watch it. So, like, why take it away just so you can have more matches? Like, again, it's social media. The wrestling culture is so divided these days. And if somebody likes something and you don't agree with them, it's immediately an argument. And I don't know. Yeah. I mean, part of that's fun, but when it's every single thing, and no matter what WWE does, like a lot of us did not like the Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, Eric Rowan thing, right? We said that was poorly done, but yet now we're not going to just crap on this angle if we were entertained by the wedding, and we're just speaking our minds. That's all I got this week.
Well said.
That's good.
With that said, what do you think, NoDQ Galaxy? What was your favorite wedding angle of all time in WWE? Not counting Macho and Liz, because that's an all-time classic. Put it in the comments below. Let's go around and do our plugs. I will start with you, Big G.
So, NoDQ.com/Big G. Take you to my Twitter page. NoDQ_Big G on Instagram. Jeff Phillips on Facebook. Go to NoDQ.com/merch. Go get your merch there. I believe you still can go to Pro Wrestling Tees and type in NoDQ. And you can get some retro NoDQ shirts. That's it for me. TJS, take it away.
NoDQ.com/TJS takes you to my Facebook page. Twitter @NoDQ_TJS. And folks, Aaron Rift is having a 100-question Q&A Saturday, I believe, which will be January 4th. He needs the questions, folks. Get him the questions at Aaron Rift on Twitter. I'm stealing your plugs, Aaron, but I'm really interested to see these 100 questions. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a marathon. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that and send in your questions. And we got a lot of content coming up this year, so stay tuned. Thank you all for your continued support. Virtue, let's go ahead and wrap it up.
All right. Follow me on Twitter. Troll with me on Twitter @NoDQ_Virtue. Go to my Facebook, NoDQ.com/Virtue with the lowercase v. For Aaron Rift, for TJS, and for Big G, I am Virtue. We'll see you next time.